Hello everybody, this is Spring Web What Ifs, back here with a new What If series. This is What If Deku was a mutant? Okay, some things that I'd be getting into at the start, before the What If starts. The start of this What If will be starting off in the movie known as The New Mutants. If you haven't watched that, spoilers for that. Also, this one will be a first person one. Like my what if he was in a zombie apocalypse? Okay, let's begin. Okay, we start this off at Izuki's view, so I'll be going into first person now. Hi, my name's Izuki Midoriya. You probably haven't heard of my story since this one isn't that common in my multiverse of, well, other me's. So, this all started around when I was 13, when I was going through puberty. I showed some signs of having a quirk, but I was born quirkless, so I didn't think anything of it. My mum worked for this weird company, with this weird bioengineering company. She never told me much about it. It put food on my plate, so I really didn't care. Up until the part where she'd be coming in at later times. And then, well, uh, around May, around May, I think it was, um, well, my mum took me to her job saying that, they're gonna be doing a few tests on me. This is my view, I'll be right back. So she bring me to her work, and then my mum gave me this pill. It knocked me out. I then woke up in this tube. Something that I forgot that I should mention. I was in like the first year of middle school at the time. So you know the first part of my story. I was bullied by my childhood friend. That still continued. I was bullied as a child. And well, yeah. And you probably know how I got all these scars and how I got my burn on my face. Okay, so from me taking that pill, I then woke up in this weird tube. Then I heard my mother's voice saying, "Stay calm, Izuku. It'll be all fine. You're just gonna go for a little sleep." As then I don't know what the time difference was, or like when it happened, but I woke up in this weird room, and then these tiles popped out of the wall, and then these two robots came out of them. Don't know how they did this, or why, but then they started attacking me. So for some reason, and also for some reason, I could predict what they were gonna do. Like I could see what was happening before it even happened. So I was dodging each hit, like each attack that they threw at me, up until the point where one actually punched me into a wall. This pissed me off, and then my mind went a blank. The next thing I know, I woke up in this weird room. This woman then came in saying that her name is Dr. Riaz, and how she is a doctor that um is is here to help me with my condition. She asked me if she knew what mutants were. I said, yeah, relatively. I know how that happened, like how it's like a separate. As I say, as I went on to explain how it's a separate thing from the quirk thing, with mutants being more powerful, and it happened during puberty. And then she said that I was a mutant. I didn't know how, since my mom had a quirk, not a mutant ability. Okay, this is my view now. So, the things that are in this universe. Mutants are in this world, so the X-Men. Um, the whole Avengers, they are bridged in New York, but they do come over to Japan for sometimes for some things, like the UA entrance exam. Okay, so the people that also Miles Morales is a just starting up superhero. Uh, um, like when Izuki starts to go to UA, and he's the sidekick of Spider-Man, but he just has the same name, Spider-Man, since he's the only sidekick that Spider-Man actually has. Okay, so let's continue on from Izuki's view. She said that she could help me, that she could nullify my mutant gene inside my body, and she injected me with this weird liquid. I don't know what it was, but she said that it could stop the my what's in my body, stop the mutant gene from activating. Went without. Well, no, I don't know. Actually, no. Then these weird. Then she brought me into this room with three kids. Um, there was this girl. Don't know what her deal was. Well, there was two girls and one guy. He acted all smug. Then a couple weeks later, this another guy came in. I don't know what his deal was, but he for some reason he had a broken arm. And then, lastly, before the whole thing happened, this girl came in. And, well, also, something that I should mention. I have two symbiotes inside of me. You know Venom's race? Well, whatever Venom is. I have two of those in me. Don't know how or when this happened, but it did. I have these vague memories of them trying to talk to me. But they were it's usually screams. So, and I only started to hear these screams when, well, like a few days, well, just as I wake up from being in this place. Something that you should also know about me. I also have the spirit of vengeance in me. Don't know how I know this, but I remember hearing someone say that he has the spirit of vengeance in him. He's gonna be the next Ghost Rider. I don't know what that was all about. I've heard about the myth of the Ghost Rider. Apparently he was this weird vigilante that disappeared. Then, right as this girl showed up, um, all these weird things happened. Up until the day when it all really began. Where I usually have this weird thing that stops my immune ability from coming out, like, uncontrollably. And one thing that I do remember from before I went into the fighting those robots, I remember my mom telling me that you have this weird blood. You have your mutant ability is being able to have your blood is able to adapt to any situation that it's in. So if we injected you with another mutant's blood, you'd get their abilities. So I didn't really take this to heart, I just remember it. And then, okay, so let's go back to when it all began, when it all really began. It's usually like once every hour that I have to take this syringe. The doctor usually trusts me with doing it since she knows that I don't want to hurt anyone or myself. So I willingly do it. But then I heard a scream right as I was about to inject myself with this thing. As I dropped the syringe and knocked the door in. Knocked the door out of its hinges, and I ran towards the scream. But before I got there, I heard these two voices. Finally, you grew the balls and didn't inject yourself with that poison. As I asked who's there and what poison. As then I went into my subconscious and I met there was these three people there. One was this flaming skull, one was this red, blue, purple and grey goop, and then there was this other one that was a green and black goop. They introduced themselves as Dilemma, the symbiote, from the world known as I actually forgot well, this is my view. I forgot what the name of it. I know his race is called the Clintar, but or his planet's called the Clintar, and that's just also their race name. And then now we're going to go back to Izuki's view. As then the Redum, the all like amalgamated one says that I am a man-made symbiote. We escaped from that lab that you were in, and we chose to come to you as our host, as it took us so long to meet you, since you were usually had this weird sleeping drug in you, so we couldn't talk to you since you were in a deep-minded sleep. As then this flaming skull appeared, saying, I am the spirit of vengeance. And you are my next user. As then the two symbiotes started talking. Started talking to the skull, saying, "Stop acting so grim and gruesome. We know you're not usually like this." As then the skull went from having this weird mean expression to having a like laughing, like humorous expression on his face. Well, his face skull. Don't really know what to call it. As he's sorry for being so intimidating. It's just how it usually works. My previous user, I'm pretty sure it was Johnny. He became the Angel Rider, and I left it. He became the Spirit of Vengeance, and then, well, the good part of the Spirit of Vengeance, and then I split off as being the evil one, but I kept his funny ass personality. As then, let us fill you in on what they were making you inject yourself with. It was a poison. The reason that we couldn't talk to you while you were here is because you were injecting yourself with a poison. And our friend also, something that I should mention, this is my view, like Spriggan's view. The name of the other symbiote, the red, purple, grey and blue one, is called Vaporeon. Okay, let's go back into Izuki's view. Vaporeon here, his ability is to, well, manipulate poisons and inject and, well, manipulate them. So he was trying to fight off the poison in your bloodstream, and each time you injected yourself, there was a different poison. It was so then it would stop us from trying to talk to you, since we were trying to keep your body from not dying, as because we die if you die. As I um said sorry for all that pain that he caused you. As they said, no problem, you were just doing it because you were scared and you didn't know what happened. As then, out of nowhere, this creature, demon looking guy came out of nowhere.
So, you're my alter ego.
It said. As then I saw it for the first time.
Hi, I'm, I'm your alternate personality. I'm the thing that came out during that robot fighting simulation that happened. Sorry, but I killed everyone there. Well, all the robots, and then I think I escaped, or I got hit by this tranquilizer dart, and I turned back into you. Ever since then, I haven't been able to manifest myself to talk to you.
As I replied with, okay, I wasn't expecting that. As he then replied with,
Well, when we get out of this mindscape, you're most likely gonna be able to hear us in your mind. Me, that's a different story. Me and you, we're gonna merge our personalities so then we can live in perfect harmony. So then you and I don't hurt anyone that you don't want to hurt.
as I replied with, okay, sure. As then I went out of there. As then I heard Dilemma say, we know every single type of blood that they injected you with. Would you like us to tell you who they injected you with? As I replied with yes. As um, Dilemma started listing off these powers that I had. He said I had pyrokinesis, which is usually one of the symbiote's main weaknesses, but he doesn't have it. Also, this is my view. The things that these symbiotes don't have, since they're inside Izuki's body, they don't have the weakness to fire or sound because they're in his body. Okay, now let's get back to Izuki's view. He said that I had pyrokinesis, matter manipulation. Um, I have retractable claws, and I have the hero Wolverine's DNA inside of me. I also have an adamantium skull. I don't know how, I didn't know what adamantium is, but then I remembered this, theory online saying that the hero Wolverine had a transplant that infused his body with metal, which is why his claws are metal. As then Dilemma kept on going on, saying that he also that I also had ice manipulation. Don't know where I got that from. I got weapon creation. I don't know any heroes that have that. Manipulation. I think they got that from Magneto. Telekinesis. Probably Professor Xavier. Um, and then they also put. And then Dilemma said that they also put nanites in my body, so I can turn so I have incredible regeneration, as well as I can morph my body into weapons. This is my view. So I kind of got the nanites idea from Generator Rex. I have a whole different what if plan for that. So he has nanites in his body. Um, okay, now we're going back to Izuki's view. Dilemma also listed off that I had energy manipulation and a hyper regeneration. Don't know what the hell that is. I'm pretty sure it's just Wolverine's healing factor, since I know that Wolverine is pretty much immortal. He also said that I had these two brothers. One had white hair and then the other had red hair. The redhead brother had the ability to multiply his strength by twice, and if he got angered, it would intensify. And the other brother was a much calmer one, but he had the ability to divide any persons he touched. He also said that I had the ability to multiply, and that I can change the size of my body. I also have blood manipulation, which I'm pretty sure is just blood bending from Avatar, and absorption, which I think I get that from, well, the Spirit of Vengeance. And then Dilemma said, well, those are your powers. Do you want to test them on those monsters that are around here? Yes, I replied with yes. As then I felt it, the other personality of mine. It merged with me. This is my view, this being this guy here. And now... And also, Izuki also has, Wolverine's claws from him being injected with Wolverine's DNA. Something that he can also do with Wolverine's claws, he can make claws from those claws. So pretty much he can make extended, well, Wolverine claws, and he can protrude the claws from anywhere in his body. These being made out of metal, since his skeleton is also made out of metal. Okay, let's go back to Izuki's view. As I felt this sudden build of rage that I can control, that that alternate personality of mine had a lot of rage built up. I think it was from my negative feelings about Katsuki. As then my whole entire personality flipped, as I became more confident, and I didn't care what people thought of me. As now I'm me, Izuki Midoriya. So then I came across these weird things that didn't have any eyes and weird smiling mouths. I chose to shoot an energy ball at it. Then I heard another scream. I ran towards it. This being I didn't really get their names, but the girl with the sword that could make her arm into an armored sword, like an armored version of her arm, and this is with a sword, and the guy that could rocket off like a jet with the broken arm. As then, I came in from, I told them to duck, as then I shot this wave of fire. Me being surprised at what I could do, thinking that this is gonna be fun. As then from behind me, I heard more of those people as I cracked my knuckles and turned around. I didn't realize that at the time, but my eyes changed for the first time. And then my body morphed into this. As then I drawed the sword from my back as I started slashing and slashing, enjoying every single bit out of it. Being able to let out some pent up anger that I had. But this just coming back after every time I killed them. And then I changed back into my regular form. As then I asked if they were okay. And they asked if it was really me. Okay, this is my view. Something that I should mention. I forgot most of their names. I remember Rain, which is the wolf girl. Um, and then okay, let's get back to Izuki's view. I asked if they were okay, and they asked if that's really me. And then the girl that can get Ram into a freaking weapon asked if that he's changed. That he actually doesn't seem like a pussy anymore. Well, I took that as a compliment and said thanks. As then I heard more of those creatures. So I used that blood manipulation that I had. I tried this for the very first time, and I put my hand to a fist, and it squeezed it into a like as if I actually used my hand, used a giant hand on it, and blood came out of its mouth as well as its ears. I took great pleasure in doing this since I thought it was fun. As then Dilemma asked if he wanted some backup, as I said yeah, sure. As all you need to do is ask me or Viperian Viperian and just suit up and we'll coat you in a cool armor. As I said, okay, well, Dilemma, suit up. As then he out of my chest popped this black and green liquid. As then it coated my body into this. I thought that I felt incredibly powerful. As then Dilemma told me what he could do. That if he got a small bit of a symbiote, he could absorb their powers into him. As I thought this is gonna be fun. As then I turned my fingers into claws and started slashing and slashing. As then two tendrils popped out of my back, these having two spikes at the end, with Dilemma saying, Vapirian, let me borrow some of him to be able to copy his ability. I can't use his venom manipulation for some reason. When I usually can, but I think it's because we have the same host. So, well, yeah. As then I told them that like, we should probably go. As then we heard this loud banging when we tried to go upstairs, and even more came up. But then the girl disappeared. That girl that was with us, she disappeared. As then she came down, flying down the stairs, cutting um the creatures. Something that I forgot to mention. On our way to the upstairs, we ran across the guy with the fire, and then we got to Dr. Riaz's office. Brain and the new girl was there. Um, Brain's asking who's the guy in the suit, as I revealed it being me. As I said, hey, how's it going? As Rain said that Dr. Riaz tried to kill well, whatever her name is. As then they all went out to the hallway, as they heard her on the voice comm saying that whole speech from the movie. I really forgot it. As then give me a minute. As then we came across her putting a dome around us, with her not knowing that I didn't take my poison today. With me then coating myself in Vapirian, as I ended up looking like this. He was coating my body, with him trying to turn one of my hands into one of his injectors. As then I also formed one of his injectors on my back. I kept one of my hands as a claw, so I could scratch at her. Well, at the barrier. So with my back tendril, I poked it out at the back. With my left hand, I poked it into it, and with my right hand, I slashed above, breaking her barrier. As in my deep demonic voice, since I was coded in Vapirian, I said,
Well, I guess you didn't expect me to do this, huh, bitch? And also, I know about every single power that I have. And it's because of you that I didn't get to meet any of my friends that I have inside of me. So I'm gonna enjoy beating the shit out of you.
but then out of nowhere, that demon bear came out of nowhere. Well, that didn't make sense. Well, that demon bear came out of nowhere and ripped her apart. With me being unhappy, saying that, oh, I wanted to do that. As I went back into my regular form. As then Rain said that we need to get out of there. As the chick with the sword and dragon puppet thing said that she's gonna stop it. As I just went along with it up until when we made it to the church. When Rocket Boy, I'm just gonna call guy with broken arm for most of the time. When I said that I'd go with him. As then when I came across the bear, I looked it straight in its eyes. As then I got a glimpse back from before this whole thing. Something that I should mention. He is now 15. It's been 2 years since the whole thing. And also, okay, actually, yeah, let's go back into where it's Izuki's view. As I got a memory from during middle school when I was watching an anime. Pretty sure it's called Dragon Ball or something like that. And I remembered something called Ki from that anime. Me thinking that it's a lot like the energy that I have. So I thought I might as well be real cheesy right here. And I decided to yell, Kame, Hame, Ha! As my energy balls look like this. But usually, actually, this is my view. So his energy balls are multicolored. They change um into it's just a multicolored one. As when it shoots, it's like a whole blast of colors. As he shoots, as let's go back to Izuki's view. I shot it, being so proud of myself. The guy with the broken arm was like, "Did you really just make a Dragon Ball reference?" As I said, "Yes." Me being impressed with myself. As then it didn't really do anything to it. As then I decided to started fighting it. As my eyes shifted into this. As then my whole body was coated in this black substance. As then it revealed itself to be this, my alter ego form, which is what I'm gonna call it. As I drew my sword, and I started slashing and slashing and slashing at the bear, trying to hold it off. And then it knocked me into the church, knocking me into a wall. Me being pissed off, but me turning back into my regular form. As then I said, to Rain that you really need to wake her up. As then the demon bear tried to attack, the girl that Rain was protecting. Rain was the only reason that I remember Rain's name is because she was the only real nice one to me. As then she turned part wolf, or whatever she is, and jumped onto the top of the bear and started just slashing, up until she was on the top like a beam of a church where the bear was like chomping away at the wood, her trying to cling on to with it for a dear life. As then the girl woke up and she calmed the bear down. As then that's just as then we all went to, well, I asked what country this was. They said that it was America. I says, well, my home country is Japan, so I want to go there. As then, that was where we departed. I don't know where they are at the moment, but I'm currently flying to Japan. So, how'd you enjoy the first part of my story? So, now it's back to my part. Okay, so if you enjoyed this video, like, comment, and subscribe if you want. And next weekend I will be doing another part of this. I'm really enjoying this one. This one is most likely going to be another one of those fun ones that I do. Because most of the one, well, actually, it's most likely going to be fun because I'm doing it in first person, and I enjoy doing first person's what ifs. So, see ya, and hopefully you enjoy this video. So, have a good night, good day, good evening, and goodbye.